I want to take this conversation in a slightly different direction.
Sure. Yeah.
I think it's going to be a fun one. Okay. So I want to build on three things. Okay. We're going to put them all together and see if we can cook a dish with them. So first I want to take self-management, which we just talked about there. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. And then I want to take leadership. Okay. I'm going to add that into the mix. Mm-hmm. And then I want to take a third one, and that is marketing. Okay. Good. So when we put them all together, we might call that executive presence.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's such an important topic because I get clients all the time that say, hey, will you go work with this person? And I don't know, they're great, but like, they lack that executive presence-y thing.
Yeah.
Or I'll have somebody say, yeah, I want to, move up the ranks. I want executive presence. I'll say, well, what does that mean to you? I have no idea. Yeah. And I know that I want it. Okay. So let's just play a little bit. When you think about executive presence, which is kind of the intersection of those three things, right? We're self-management. We're really being thoughtful about that. And if we don't, that can cause issues. It's leadership because we've got to lead people. They got to kind of see that in us. And it really is marketing. I mean, in a sense, because it's how we package ourselves, how we package our message. Because that's really what people are talking about is packaging. Yeah. And branding. Okay. It's now branding for leaders. So we call it executive presence. Yeah. So big. Now that's longer soundbite for me. That's a big setup to this. I would love for you to kind of within that context, play a little bit. Well, what are some things when you think of executive presence that you think leaders need to be conscious of and aware of? And let's see what we can come up together.
No, I love that. The starting point, and I know you'll agree with this, is self-awareness, is being aware of how you impact others. I have a wonderful oldest brother, Johnny, if you're listening, I apologize. I'm about to criticize you, but he's brilliant. He's brilliant. Utterly lacks any self-awareness of how he impacts others around him. So his life is a lot of times in chaos, but he's brilliant. That like one of the smartest guys I've ever met. And he's had a successful career. But he would be a classic case of when you don't have self-awareness, when you don't understand how your actions impact others, then you're a bull in a china shop, and that has opens up a whole can of worms. The other thing that I talk about a lot, and I know you'll be familiar with this too, is the space. Viktor Frankl talked about the space between stimuli and response. And in that space is where our life is sort of created. And what he meant was we all have stimuli all day long, all day long, all day long. If we react very quickly to those stimuli, it gets back to that impulsivity. We end up having actions that really we regret later. And so Viktor Frankl said, when you open up the space between stimuli and response, it gives you a moment to think and to think, how should I respond to this? What's the best outcome for this, and how should I do this, as opposed to just instantly reacting to something. So those two things are kind of the foundation, I think, and I'd love to hear what you think, Brandon, but in terms of what you do when you coach at the Leadership Foundry and everything else that you do, but that combination of self-awareness and also understanding that there's a space between stimuli and response, and what we do with that space dictates the outcome of our lives.